Matt Damon steps onto the Late Show stage ready to promote his new film, but what begins as a typical interview quickly spirals into chaos. A tense exchange with Stephen Colbert turns explosive, ending with Damon storming off. So what triggered this viral meltdown? Let's break it down. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and drop a comment with where you're watching from. Let's see who's tuned in for this wild ride. The Late Show with Stephen Colbert is electric tonight. The New York studio buzzes with anticipation, lights blazing, the audience on edge. Hollywood heavyweight Matt Damon is the evening's headliner. His signature charm and everyman vibe fill the space as he arrives to discuss his latest film, a gritty thriller about a whistleblower exposing corporate corruption. This role hits close to home for Damon, tying into his real-life advocacy for transparency. But he's not here for small talk or late-night gimmicks. He agreed to the show to promote the film, and he's got boundaries the producers are about to push. Backstage, the tension's already thick. Damon's longtime manager, Carla, sharp, seasoned, no nonsense, lays down the rules. Keep it focused. No cheap tricks. She knows her client. Push him too far, and he shuts down. The producers nod along, but their eyes gleam with mischief. They want a viral moment. A playful skit maybe, something goofy to leverage Damon's laid-back rep. Carla isn't fooled. Her stare is ice as she watches them whisper. They're going to regret this, she mutters to a stagehand. He shrugs, clearly out of the loop. In the green room, Damon sips water watching Colbert's monologue on a monitor. Stephen's in his element, tearing into corporate scandals with sly wit. The audience eats it up. Damon's expression is unreadable, but Carla catches the subtle sign, his foot tapping. He's bracing for something. The stage manager signals. Damon stands, smooths his jacket, and heads to the curtain. No drama, just a man ready to do his job. On stage, Colbert is riffing. On a tech mogul's latest disaster, the crowd's roaring when he shifts gears. He's as real as it gets. Matt Damon. The band kicks up. The audience explodes. Damon walks out, calm, confident. He flashes a brief smile, shakes Colbert's hand, and takes his seat. Relaxed but alert. Colbert dives in smoothly, asking about the film's inspiration. Real-world corruption, the fight for truth. Damon leans in, his voice steady and impassioned. He talks about the stakes, the character, the message. The crowd listens, nodding, pulled in by his conviction. But Colbert, ever the host, wants to lighten the mood. He tosses out a joke about Damon's action roles. Still doing your own stunts? Damon smiles tight. Some. His tone clipped, redirecting back to the film. The audience chuckles. Colbert misses the cue. Sensing an opening, Colbert pushes again. A throwback. Story about a prank from Damon's early career, fishing for laughs. Damon's jaw tightens. His eyes narrow. That didn't happen, he says flatly. The crowd shifts. A few gasps. Nervous laughter. Colbert grins, thinking he can smooth it over, and reaches for a prop. A plastic whistle. How about this, Matt? Blow the whistle on Hollywood, he says, holding it up with a smirk. The audience claps, buying into the gag. But Damon doesn't move. His eyes are locked on Colbert. Cold. Put that away, he says, low and sharp. The room stills. Carla, watching from the wings, shakes, her head. Here it comes, she whispers. This is about to ignite. The audience murmurs. Colbert, still holding the whistle, tries to laugh it off. All right, no whistles tonight. He chuckles, setting it on the desk. But the energy has shifted. The laughter dies. Damon's gaze doesn't waver, hard, unwavering. He's daring Colbert to try again. Backstage, Carla's hands are clenched. She turns to the stage manager. He warned them. Want to see what happens next? Stick around. This story isn't over. Told you to keep it real, Carla mutters from the wings. On stage, the stage manager flinches, signaling the control booth to cue up a commercial. But the director holds off, Ratings are spiking with every second of tension. Stephen, sensing the air thickening, adjusts his glasses, trying to regain control. "Let's talk more about the film," he says, his voice a shade too upbeat, hoping to reset the tone. He steers into safer territory, asking about the moral dilemma of Damon's character, a classic move to tap into the actor's passion. Damon obliges at first, his voice steady, explaining the internal battle of a whistleblower risking everything for the truth. But then he pauses. His tone sharpens. "That's what this is about," he says, eyes locked on Stephen, not some cheap gag for clicks. The jab lands. The crowd reacts, some clapping, others gasping. The room splits. Stephen's smile tightens. His fingers tap the corner of a cue card. He's handled difficult guests before, but Damon's intensity is different, focused, unflinching. He tries to pivot again, asking about the film's research process. Damon doesn't let it go. "You're not listening," he says, cutting Stephen off mid-sentence. "I came here to talk about something serious, not to be your punchline." The audience stirs. Someone shouts, "Tell him, Matt." Others boo, unsure if it's still a bit. Stephen looks toward the floor producer, who's signaling to move on, but Damon's not done. His voice rises just enough to command attention. "This whole setup," he gestures to the lights, the desk, the cameras, "it's designed to distract. I'm not here for that." The crowd's energy shifts again, feeding off Damon's conviction. The studio crackles. Stephen leans into his signature charm, trying to brush it off. "Hey, Matt, we're just having fun. No offense meant," he says with a grin. But it falls flat. The audience senses the tension's real now. Damon shakes his head, slow and deliberate. "Fun's not why I'm here," he says. "It's about respect, for the story and for the people watching." Some audience members stand, cheering. Others boo louder. The room is a powder keg. Backstage, Carla mutters. They're in deep now. 2 security guards, tall, broad, in dark suits, begin edging toward the stage. They're not rushing in, but they're alert. Damon isn't just a guest anymore. He's the storm center. In the control booth, chaos brews. "Do we cut?" someone asks. "Let it ride, Mike, but be ready," the director snaps, eyes glued to the live feed. Ratings are through the roof, but this is slipping fast. Back on stage, Stephen tries a last-ditch save. "Let's talk about your co-stars," he begins. Damon interrupts. "You don't get it," he says, calm but pointed. "You think you can spin this into a joke. I'm not your punchline." The crowd erupts, some cheering, others shouting for Colbert to push back. Stephen's patience frays. His smile drops. He leans forward, voice hardening. "Look, Matt, we brought you here to promote your film. Maybe show a little gratitude for that." That's the spark. Damon's jaw tightens. His voice is low, biting. "Gratitude? For turning my work into a circus?" The room explodes. Cheers, boos, phones raised, recording it all. Stephen's face tenses, hands gripping the desk. The floor producer gives the cue to break, but the cameras keep rolling. The moment is too big to cut. Stephen stands, forcing a laugh. "All right, we'll take a quick break, folks." The band scrambles into a tune, but Damon doesn't move. His stare is locked on Stephen, unwavering. The crowd senses it. This isn't over. The studio is chaos. The band's melody drowned. In chants, jeers, and shouts of Matt Damon, Stephen, standing, waves to the audience, his smile forced. But his eyes flick to the floor producer, who's frantically signaling to cut the cameras, and at the same time, to keep them rolling. In the booth, the director can't look away. The drama is gold. Ratings are climbing by the second. Damon still hasn't budged. He sits in his chair like a statue, silent, intense, commanding the room. Backstage, Carla's glare could slice steel. She turns to the nearest producer, voice low and sharp. "You pushed him too far." Security shifts again, ready but hesitant. And on stage, as the music dies down and the lights burn hot, Stephen finally sits, his control slipping, his show unraveling, and Matt Damon unshaken. Damon leans in slightly, his voice low, off mic, but the front row catches fragments. "Let's just do this right, Matt," Stephen says, half plea, half warning. Damon doesn't flinch. His reply is a whisper, but the words hit like a punch. "You crossed the line." The crowd buzzes. Phones are up, recording. The moment's already viral. Stephen, feeling the room slipping from his grip, raises his hands to rally. "Come on, folks, we've got Matt Damon." Scattered applause follows, but it's drowned out by the noise. Some fans cheering Damon, others calling on Stephen to push back. The studio's a powder keg. Damon leans back, arms crossed, unmoved. He's not here for applause. He's here to be heard. The stage manager, sweating, signals to wrap it. Stephen ignores him, grabbing a cue card in a desperate pivot. "Tell us about working with the director," he says, aiming for neutral ground. But Damon cuts in, calm and precise. "You're still not hearing me," he says, this time loud enough for the mic. "I came here to talk about something that matters, not to play your game." The audience erupts. Cheers clash with boos. The divide is sharp now. Stephen's jaw tightens. His trademark charm is unraveling under Damon's relentless focus. He laughs, but it's brittle. "Matt, it's a talk show," he says, gesturing to the desk and lights. "We're here to entertain, that's all." Damon's eyes narrow. His voice drops, each word deliberate. "Entertain? You're burying the truth under your jokes." The crowd roars again, some on their feet, others shouting. The chaos builds. In the wings, Carla nods grimly. Damon's not backing down. Security inches closer. Suits tight, expressions tense. But they move carefully. Damon's not just talent. He's fire under pressure. Backstage, the control booth is a war zone. The numbers are insane, but this is chaos. A producer barks. "Keep it going. Prep to cut." On stage, Stephen tries one last angle. "Let's talk about your preparation for the role." His tone is almost pleading, but Damon's done playing along. "You're wasting my time," he says, voice like a knife. "This isn't about the film anymore. It's about you thinking I'm a prop." The audience loses it, some chanting Damon's name, others yelling at Stephen. The energy is electric, volatile, Stephen snaps. He leans forward, voice sharp, polish gone. "Matt, we brought you here to talk. Show some respect for that." "It's a mistake." Damon leans in, his voice low and lethal. "Respect's earned," he says. "Not by making me the clown for your show." The crowd explodes. Phones up. Yells ricochet across the studio. The director finally calls it. "Cut. Go to break. Now." Monitors flash to commercial, but Damon stays seated, unmoved. His stare pierces through the chaos. Stephen whispers frantically to the floor producer, hands gesturing wildly. The house lights dim. The band falls silent. Security edges closer. But Carla's already moving, her gaze locked on the guards, ready to intervene. The audience is buzzing, unsettled. They feel it. This isn't over. The Late Show studio seethes with tension. Even the break doesn't cool it down. The monitors hum with ads, but the cameras stay live, feeding the moment into a ravenous online void. Damon hasn't shifted. He sits, a stone in a storm, eyes locked on the desk where Stephen once stood. Offstage, Stephen's voice cuts through the chatter, sharp, panicked. He's arguing with the floor producer, flailing to regain control. Carla, arms crossed, watches the security team edge forward. Two burly suits, now just feet from the stage, hesitate. They know they're standing at the edge of something volatile. Get Stephen back. Keep it tight. The director barks through headsets. Lights flare. The band stumbles into a riff. Stephen re-enters, smile strained but intact, sliding into his seat with mechanical ease. We're back, with Matt Damon. We're back, Stephen says, voice straining for warmth, but the applause is patchy, the air still electric with conflict. The crowd isn't settled, the room's still raw. Trying to ground the moment, Stephen pivots. Let's talk about the film's themes: accountability, responsibility, he offers, hoping to steer the ship. Damon nods, voice steady. He speaks of whistleblowers, of truth, of cost. His words land until his tone shifts, hardens. That's what this should be about, he says, motioning toward the set. Not your games, not dodging what matters. The crowd stirs, a mix of cheers, anxious shuffling. The line is visible now. Stephen's fingers grip his pen. His smile falters. We're just giving people a break from the heavy stuff, he says, leaning back, trying to reset. That's the deal, right? A few cheer, but boos rise up louder, drowning them out. Damon doesn't flinch. A break? He repeats, his voice sharp, controlled. You're burying the truth under your shtick. That sets it off. The audience erupts. Some rise to clap. Others shout at Stephen to fight back. In the wings, Carla mutters, half a grin. He's got him. Security shifts closer, hovering, still waiting, still watching. Stephen's tone rises, frustration cutting through. Matt, you're a guest here, he says, pointing at the desk. We're showing you respect, maybe give some back. The crowd bristles. The challenge is clear. Damon's jaw tightens. He speaks low, each word weighted. Respect? A beat. You don't get it by turning my work into a punchline. It lands like a body blow. The audience explodes again, cheers, boos, chaos. Stephen's flush now, gripping the desk hard. He tries to laugh, but it's empty. This is a talk show, Matt, not a lecture hall, he snaps. You want to preach? Find another stage. That's the trigger. Damon leans in, voice calm but fierce. I came to talk about something. Real? He says, nodding to the crowd. You made it a circus. I don't perform for clowns. The audience detonates, standing, shouting, phones up. The set trembles under the pressure. Stephen stands, breaking the host's rule, rising, to meet Damon. You know what, Matt? If you don't like how we do things here, he points toward the wings, you don't have to stay. It's raw. It's final. The audience gasps, then erupts, cheers, jeers, a wall of noise. Carla steps closer to the stage, eyes on Damon. Ready? The floor producer leans to security, whispering, Get ready. The guards advance. Heavy steps, but Damon doesn't move. He doesn't need to. His presence fills the stage. He looks straight at Stephen. Maybe I won't, he says, calm, razor sharp. The crowd howls, a battlefield of sound. Some cheer his defiance, others boo. Stephen's had enough. His face red, he jabs a finger at Damon. Then go, he says, voice raised, final. Gasps ripple through the crowd. Phones up, recording. Backstage, the director's yelling to cut, but the cameras keep rolling. The moment's too big to stop. Damon remains seated, unmoving. His stare burns through the noise. The stage vibrates, a heartbeat from chaos. The Late Show is now a war zone. Stephen's command, then go, ignites the audience into a frenzy. Chants, boos, shouts of Matt. Damon, rattle the walls. Damon stays locked in place, returning Stephen's glare without blinking. The room crackles with their standoff, audience on its feet. Phones streaming. The director screams to cut. No one listens. Carla's poised, watching everything. The guards are nearly on stage now, close, alert, uncertain. The floor producer pleads through a headset, Stephen, pull back. But Stephen is past the point of return. His face flushed, voice rough, he points again. We gave you a platform, he growls, gesturing to the room. You don't get to trash it. The crowd splits, some cheering him, others booing harder. Damon rises, slow, controlled. A wave of silence rolls across the studio. He doesn't need to shout. He just is. For a moment, the stage is quiet. Then Damon speaks, low, biting. You call this a platform? He scans the room. You turned it into a sideshow. I'm done. The crowd ignites. Some leap to their feet, clapping. Others shout, the set, thrumming with chaos. From the wings, Carla nods, jaw tight, pride flickering in her eyes. Damon's standing firm. Security closes in. One steps forward, voice level but cautious. "Sir, time to go." The moment is heavy, the tension razor thin. Damon turns, locks eyes with the guard, not hostile but immovable. "I'm walking," he says. Final. Carla steps in, sharp as a blade. He leaves on his terms. She snaps at the floor producer, who's clearly in over his head. Damon glances at Stephen, then the audience. His face is calm, unshaken. "I said what I needed to," he tells them. Then, without another word, he turns and walks off stage, unhurried, unwavering. The crowd erupts, cheers, gasps, shouts, a storm behind him. Stephen just stands there. The band stumbles into a jittery tune, trying to smooth the crater Damon left. Forcing a smile, Stephen waves to the camera. "Well, that was something, folks." His voice cracks at the edges. Laughter bubbles from the audience, but it's fragmented. The room's been split. Backstage, it's chaos. Producers scramble, the director barking about PR damage and blackout edits. Carla trails Damon to the green room. He grabs his jacket, cool as ever. "Told him. No games," she mutters. Damon just nods. His mind's already somewhere else. Outside, the internet's ablaze. Clips of the clash go viral within minutes. Fans, critics, memes, hot takes. Everyone's picking sides. Meanwhile, the show limps to its close. Stephen rushes through the final segments, his rhythm shattered. Whatever came after, it doesn't matter. Because Damon's exit is the story. The night a Hollywood heavyweight walked in, called out the fakery, and left. Not as a guest, but as a force. He steps into the New York night, the noise of the studio fading behind him. But he's not just walking out, he's drawing a line. And it'll echo through Hollywood, that's the story. What a ride. If you're into these raw, unscripted Hollywood moments, hit that subscribe and we're building something real here. Drop a comment. Where you watching from? Boston? London? Some little town off the map? And the big question was, Damon right to walk? Or did he push it too far? Smash that, like, share it with your crew, and let's keep this conversation alive.